CCP finance minister hints China's economy is beyond saving. Scholar lists Xi's two major contributions. China's prosperity comes to an end. The CCP government worsens the economy. S&P economy continues to weaken, may downgrade China's credit rating. During two sessions, Jiangsu Public Security Department catches fire, local government building bombed. CCP 2 sessions adds 15 sensitive terms in 2 days. It's all covered in today's China Truths. CCP finance minister hints China's economy is beyond saving. Scholar lists Xi's two major contributions. The international community had initially held out hope that the CCP would unveil policies to rescue the economy during its 2 sessions. Yet, foreign media have begun to describe China's predicament with stark terms such as collapse and ticking time bomb. On March 6, at the CCP's 2 sessions, Finance Minister Lan Fowen conveyed in a press conference that living frugally is a direct mandate from the party's central leadership. This principle was reiterated in this year's government work report, urging all levels of government to adapt to frugality as not just a short-term measure but as a strategy for the long haul. Political commentator Deng Yuwen interpreted Lan Fowen's statement as an indication that the authorities are already prepared for the economy to not recover for a long time. This outlook is corroborated by recent developments. The Chinese property market, a critical sector for the economy, has seen further deterioration. In Nanjing, a developer's sales promotion offered additional discounts on top of a 5% price reduction. Homebuyers who secure bank loans are promised cashback, with subsidies up to 600,000 yuan, about $83,474, on a down payment of around 500,000 yuan, nearly $70,000, effectively giving away 100,000 yuan, about $13,912, with each purchase. This desperate move by developers has been likened to flipping the table by domestic media. Moreover, a conversation from a domestic chat group reveals that Shenzhen banks are imposing withdrawal limits. Whereas previously, ATMs allowed withdrawals of 10,000 yuan, about $1,391, per transaction for out-of-town cards, the limit has now been cut to 3,000 yuan, $417, with fees applied to subsequent transactions and the same cap placed on dollar withdrawals. Participants in the chat shared observations of a sudden downturn in Hong Kong, noting an eerie quiet at the Luohu port and a dramatic change within just a few months, suggesting future money withdrawals could become more challenging, with concerns about the ability to transfer funds out in 6 months' time. Foreign media have been critical of the dire state of China's economy. Despite Premier Li Chang's presentation of promising economic figures, the Wall Street Journal quickly countered with a piece titled "Why China's Growth Data is Unbelievable." The publication further argued that the CCP's flawed economic and demographic policies have precipitated a real estate bubble burst and a demographic collapse, a predicament Japan has faced, albeit under different circumstances, given its wealth and lack of geopolitical tensions at the time. The Frankfurter Allgemeine Zeitung has depicted China's local debt issue as a ticking time bomb, indicating that the accumulation of these smaller bombs could eventually lead to a massive explosion. In response to an economy beyond repair, the CCP has ramped up its control measures, expressing concerns over the stability of its rule. Beijing is practically in a state of full martial law. Reports from within the city's second and third rings suggest a heavy police presence, with several officers stationed every few dozen meters and at least 1 or 2 police vehicles within every few hundred meters. Military police now guard major crossroads, conducting random ID checks on pedestrians, and access to all footbridges has been restricted. The movement of the so-called representatives of the people, as they shuttle between meeting locations and their accommodations on buses, is facilitated by a significant number of police vehicles tasked with clearing their path and providing security, far exceeding just a couple. The capital city's heightened security measures during these meetings effectively put Beijing on the equivalent of wartime alert. Netizens argue that the expense of keeping stability has risen sharply, and I'm convinced it won't be sustainable in the long run. Who can argue that Xi Jinping isn't the ultimate anti-communist? In an interesting turn, a NetEase user questioned whether Xi Jinping has accomplished anything positive in the last decade. Independent scholar Wu Zhuo offered a distant critique, stating that Xi Jinping's major achievement has been pulling down the Communist Party, which has been the foremost adversary of the Chinese people for a century. Moreover, Wu suggests that another significant achievement of Xi is slowly becoming apparent: the dismantling of the CCP. China's prosperity comes to an end, the CCP government worsens the economy. On March 5, the Wall Street Journal released a commentary titled "China's Boom is Over, Beijing is Making It Worse," pointing out that the CCP's approach to the economic crisis is only making matters worse. The piece highlighted that on the same day, CCP's Premier Li Qiang gave an important speech at the National People's Congress. Yet, this address did little to assure anyone that the CCP government acknowledges the issue or is inclined to change course. Li Qiang's so-called ambitious goals were predictable. The CCP's official economic growth target remains about 5%, with a consumer price increase target around 3% and an urban employment creation target of over 12 million, just like last year. What's both surprising and concerning is that the measures intended to reach these goals, alongside the current state of China's economy, make these targets seem quite disconnected from reality. The commentary suggests that due to extensive expenditures by local governments over the last decade, the government is indeed facing significant fiscal limitations. However, there's a risk that decision-makers might overlearn from previous stimulus efforts, potentially falling into the same trap that Western policymakers did after 2009 by adhering to excessively stringent monetary and fiscal policies. This could lead to persistently low rates of economic growth and employment. With an inflation rate currently around zero, the set inflation goal of 3% for 2024 and the economic growth target, unchanged from last year, drew attention. It appears that fiscal policy won't be significantly more supportive either. The article points out that the aging population, substantial local government debt, and a disrupted real estate financing scheme pose significant challenges. Yet, perhaps the most substantial structural problem China faces is its increasingly inflexible policy framework. International investment banks are urging, cease investments in China. On March 4, Sharman Masuvaramani, Goldman Sachs Wealth Management's chief investment officer, during a Bloomberg TV interview, highlighted, "All our clients are posing this question. Given the seemingly low prices of Chinese stocks, it's natural to wonder, has it already seen the worst?" She declared, "We advise against investing in China." She provided several reasons for this stance, including an anticipated gradual decline in China's economy over the next decade. She pointed out the weakening of China's key economic drivers, the real estate market, infrastructure, and exports. Masuvaramani criticized the CCP's policymaking for its lack of transparency and the inconsistent economic data, amplifying external investment concerns towards China. An official CCP statement boasted an economic growth over 5% in 2023, but Masuvaramani countered, "The consensus is that these aren't accurate growth figures, they're significantly lower." In January, J.P. Morgan Chase, commonly referred to as J.P. Morgan, in its 2024 outlook, proclaimed the end of the Chinese stock market's rally. Michael Sembalist, J.P. Morgan Asset and Wealth Management's Market and Investment Strategy Chairman, reminisced in the 2024 outlook about the bygone era of the Chinese stock market's performance since joining the World Trade Organization in 2001. From the start of 2019 to the end of 2023, while U.S. large-cap stocks surged by 107% and European stock markets by 58%, the Chinese stock market declined by 17%. Sembalist observed, "The underperformance of the Chinese stock market has become evident to investors. Recently, China has turned into the ultimate value trap, warning that markets caught in such a value trap typically meet their end." Previously, Morgan Stanley, also known as MS, last October highlighted the unprecedented rate at which foreign investors were pulling funds from China's A-share market, advising against purchasing Chinese stocks at low prices. Wealthy Chinese individuals are accelerating their departure. Amid deteriorating political and economic climates in China, not only is foreign investment swiftly exiting, but wealthy Chinese individuals are also hastening their departure, taking considerable assets with them. Henley & Partners, a British firm specializing in investment immigration, reported that in 2022, more than 10,800 millionaires left China, each carrying an average wealth of about $6.6 million overseas. Consequently, Chinese tycoons removed $71.2 billion in wealth from the country that year. The forecast for 2023 sees the count of millionaire migrants from China hitting 13,500, marking a 25% rise from 2022. Predictions for 2025 suggest that the number of wealthy Chinese emigrants could surpass 700,000. Australia is the preferred destination for these affluent migrants, followed by the UAE and Singapore. This indicates that throughout 2022 and 2023, Chinese tycoons migrating abroad are expected to shift around $160 billion in wealth from China to various countries. The 2023 Global Wealth Report places China second only to the United States, with over 32,900 ultra-high net worth individuals, each with assets over $100 million. Although China is home to an estimated 823,800 millionaires, this wealth exodus is set to erase tens of billions of dollars from the Chinese economy, further deepening its financial woes. S&P economy continues to weaken, may downgrade China's credit rating. Reuters reported that on Thursday, March 7, S&P Global analyst Kim Tan warned that the agency might downgrade China's credit rating if the country's economic recovery remains slow or depends too heavily on large-scale stimulus efforts. The credit default swap (CDS) market has already anticipated several downgrades for China since 2022. Investors use CDS as a safeguard against the risks of holding a country's bonds. The last time S&P reduced China's rating was in 2017. Moody's, a competing rating agency, shifted China's sovereign credit rating outlook from stable to negative in December of the previous year. This adjustment was motivated by increasing evidence of substantial debt levels among local governments and state-owned enterprises, suggesting the need for more financial support from the Chinese Communist Party. This scenario poses significant risks to China's fiscal health, economic stability, and the integrity of its institutions. Moreover, Moody's adjustment in outlook signifies a structural shift within China's economy, marked by slowing midterm growth and a rising risk of continued contraction in the domestic real estate sector. During 2 sessions, Jiangsu Public Security Department catches fire, local government building bombed. Throughout the Chinese Communist Party's 2 sessions, a series of unexpected events unfolded, prompting officials to swiftly suppress the news. Videos posted online on March 7 captured a fire engulfing a tall building of the Jiangsu Provincial Public Security Department. Thick smoke was seen billowing from one side of the structure, climbing all the way to its circular top-floor feature. Additionally, video clips shared online depicted dense smoke rising from the Zhangjiagang city government building in Jiangsu, where the glass and door frames at the entrance were notably damaged, leaving a trail of glass fragments and rubble scattered. Concurrently, a declaration signed by Yuan Jianhong confessed, "I am responsible for bombing the Zhangjiagang city government. I demand accountability for corrupt officials and restitution for my factory, private home, and other unfair treatments. I am ready to surrender myself." A number believed to be his personal ID was also provided. Online records reveal that Zhangjiagang Hisheng CNC Machine Tool Manufacturing Company, Limited, legally represented by Yuan Jianhong and founded in April 2003, specializes in CNC milling machines and CNC machine tools. An NTD reporter attempted to reach Yuan Jianhong via the contact number listed by the company online, but the call did not go through. This story has ignited widespread discussion on international social media platforms. Netizens have been vocal, with comments like, "At last, someone is taking a stand against the government rather than lashing out at society." Others stated, "While I don't condone such actions, when it comes to fighting the Communist Party, I have to commend the effort." Jie Lijian, the executive vice chairman of the China Democracy Party, observed, These mass incidents reflect people's desperation and their resort to extreme measures of protest and revenge as a way of coping with oppressive stability maintenance. Currently, the Chinese economy is facing a significant downturn, with numerous businesses shutting down, unemployment rates climbing, and public dissatisfaction intensifying. Amidst the Communist Party of China's two sessions, the government viewed the situation as a major threat and took all possible measures to stop petitioners from submitting their grievances. In recent months, numerous petitioners have made their way to Beijing to seek redress, only to face violent abductions and beatings by the police, with some being detained in unofficial prisons or even disappearing. Columnist Wang Yi criticized, the CCP regime is profoundly malevolent, leaving its citizens without any recourse. But what are people to do? Their sole recourse under these distorted policies is to petition, yet this very act of petitioning is heavily thwarted and distorted by the CCP, rendering it nearly impossible to achieve any resolution. The CCP regime has become the primary source of China's woes, turning into the public's adversary. Thus, the populace has come to this realization. This should, conversely, inspire more Chinese to awaken and dismantle the CCP. Jia Lijian warned, public dissatisfaction is reaching a boiling point, and everyone knows it's just a matter of time before it ignites. CCP 2 sessions adds 15 sensitive terms in 2 days. The CCP regime is currently in crisis. As discontent with Xi Jinping grows more apparent both among the general populace and within the party itself, the government has intensified its control over the internet, swiftly adding to its list of sensitive words. Utilizing the sensitive word detection system developed by the Citizen Lab at the University of Toronto, the online platform China Digital Times identified a surge in censored words between March 4 and 5, 2024, noting that the tally of banned terms rose to over 15 in just a 2-day span. These included phrases such as sensitive word, plus, Xi Jinping, plus, Minjiang New Army, disaster, plus, Xi Jinping, and Xi Jinping, plus, personal dictatorship. Observers have noted that the recent 2 sessions have marked a significant increase in Xi Jinping's consolidation of power. This year's governmental report, in stark contrast to last year's by Li Keqiang, mentioned Xi Jinping a markedly higher number of times, essentially portraying him in a highly adulatory light. The CCP's 2 sessions have always been a topic of lively discussion online. There's a common joke among netizens that the National People's Congress, NPC, is for raising hands, while the Political Consultative Conference is for clapping, leading to NPC delegates being humorously dubbed hand-raising machines. With the cancellation of this year's Prime Minister's press conference, some netizens argue that given the inconsequential suggestions made by representatives in recent years, holding the 2 sessions seems pointless and a mere waste of time. As a result, phrases like cancellation of the 2 sessions and hand-raising machine, plus, conference have emerged as newly sensitive terms. Further, terms identified in Weibo searches such as press conference, reporter question, government work report, speech, plus, thematic education, prime minister, plus, reverse, and prime minister, plus, regression have been subtly censored, allowing only official Weibo accounts and verified users to discuss these topics. Additionally, the announcement of the discontinuation of the Prime Minister's press conference post-session and in the years to follow, breaks a 30-year tradition and has led to widespread speculation and ridicule. Following this announcement, a NetEase News article recapping the history of the Prime Minister's press conferences was removed. Some comments suggested that the Prime Minister has been reduced to a mere figurehead, openly humiliating Li Keqiang, and reflecting a departure from even the pretense of governance, with a critique that the ultimate development of an autocracy is a country that listens to only one voice. Last year, the unexpected death of former Premier Li Keqiang led to stringent censorship on discussions across Chinese social media platforms, with terms related to Li Keqiang, expressions of mourning, or references to his death becoming sensitive words and resulting in the frequent closure of comment sections. Don't forget to leave a comment in the section below to share your opinions on today's topic with us. Make sure to like and subscribe to see more interesting topics from China Truths.